In Britain today, we consume more fast food than ever before.
It's cheap, not only that, it keeps me going every day.
But how much do we really know about the lives of the people that make our food?
I never really think about where my food comes from. If it looks nice to me, I just grab it and shove it in the shopping trolley.
From top-class restaurants to low-cost supermarkets, we're demanding and consuming more and more food from all over the world.
Malaysian and Thai and Oriental cuisine, I love it.
But would we feel the same if we knew the human price of producing our food?
We want food that's cheap and we expect it, but obviously it's going to come at some cost.
Over the last 3 weeks, 6 young and hungry British consumers have been in Southeast Asia, living and working alongside the millions of people who grow, catch and process the food that we eat. They are fast food junkie Manos.
If that importer and exporter is exploiting another person so that my price is cheap, then so be it.
Farmer James.
Buying locally is the most important thing for me.
Fussy eater Jess.
I'd eat meat if it was in the form of a burger or a sausage. It just makes it seem more like I'm not actually eating an animal itself, so it feels more okay to eat it.
Luxury food lover Lauren.
Food is my main passion. I think about it 80% of the time.
Concerned consumer Stacey.
You see all the price wars going on between the big supermarkets. It does make you think, where are they cutting the corners?
And keen amateur chef Josh.
Wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about what I'm having for breakfast, what I'm having for lunch, tea time.
You smell that?
So far, they've lived alongside the tuna workers in Indonesia. Have been pushed to their limits in the prawn ponds of Kalimantan.
So hard out here. I'm just amazed to see how hard he works.
And in Thailand, struggled to survive living on a typical rice worker's wage.
Everything we've earned is going towards rent. We still don't have any food.
I'm starving. Every last hard-earned penny is gone.
So we're off to Bangkok then.
Now, they're on the final leg of the journey.
How worse can it get?
Unable to earn enough money to survive in the rice fields, the group are following in the footsteps of thousands of rural food workers, joining the annual migration to Bangkok.
We're going to get rabies, aren't we? Rabies and fleas.
And it's here that our 6 Brits will have to take on whatever work they can. From the slums of Klong Toi
It's disgusting!
to the chicken factories that export around the world and to the UK.
It's so gory, it's so bloody and so gruesome.
They'll discover a darker side to working in the city and the ultimate sacrifice that many migrant workers feel forced to make.
Waarom gaan lokale boeren massaal naar de grote stad Bangkok? Is dat A, om niet op het platteland te hoeven wonen, of is dat B, om werk te vinden? Het goede antwoord is antwoord B.
The group will be pushed to breaking point.
I'm starting to really appreciate how hard it is to support your family.
And as their journey comes to an end, will the food they eat ever taste the same again?
I have learnt tons. I suppose I feel a bit guilty because I can go back to my life.
The group has arrived in Bangkok.
The Bangkok version of King's Cross.
But our 6 Brits won't be following the tourist trail to the beaches of Koh Samui.
I reckon so many people do the journey we're doing, you know, come down from Uten and try and find work. So there must sort of be some sort of setup for them to get their bearings, get them off the ground to start off with. So I reckon we're going to be surrounded with other people doing exactly the same job as we are.
Where they are heading is a million miles away from the Thailand that greets thousands of Westerners every year.
Oh, it smells like shit.
Jeff.
It's not like...
This is Klong Toi, Bangkok's largest slum, and the reality for thousands of migrants unable to survive on the wages from the rice fields.
What's going on?
There's rubbish everywhere. The smell is vile, and I just cannot explain to you how strong it is. Physically, I feel like the next whiff of smell I get, I'm going to be sick.
Around 100,000 people live in this area of Bangkok, between a highway, railway tracks, and a filthy river.
Blatantly rats, like lots of them.
Infested with rats here.
It stinks down here really bad. It just smells like they go to toilet on the streets. I've just never seen anything like it in my life.
How on earth someone can make a decent living in this environment, I don't know.
Over the next few days, our Brits will come face to face with some of the other industries that welcome workers to the city. From the chicken factories that export all over the world.
You know, these people aren't talking to each other. They're just getting on with it. They're just in the zone.
To a darker side of working on the city's streets.
We're working for money. It's true. We want money for family. Who would have thought this is all because of the food industry? Like, you sort of forget that they're connected.
The group are heading to a chicken factory in the suburbs of the city.
I have no idea what to expect. I really don't know.
Thailand is one of the biggest exporters of chicken in the world. Last year, over 110,000 tonnes flew its way to various supermarkets and takeaways across the UK.
I'm going to see for myself now how, you know, the chickens are manufactured, and it could be D-Day, could completely change my diet.
This is one of the first times that a group of consumers have been allowed to experience life inside a chicken factory, which supplies worldwide.
There's like no air supply inside it.
Right.
I'm getting willy burn.
Yeah.
Oh, where is the aircon?
I take you to what is called cut up room. It's from, we get whole bird, then we have the step by step to cut up each piece of bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go and cut up some birds.
These 5 young Brits are about to join the 4,000-strong workforce live on the cutting room floor.
I've never felt so suffocated in my life.
It's just such a huge scale of people all looking exactly the same. It is quite breathtaking, really.
Waar komen deze kippen vandaan? Is dat A, de bio-industrie of is dat B, biologische landbouw?
These factory lines process 140,000 birds every day for export all over the world, including the UK.
De bio-industrie dus. Staat bio-industrie voor dierenwelzijn? Zeg je A, ja, de dieren hier kunnen hier lekker natuurlijk leven. Of zeg je B, nee, de dieren kunnen hier niet hun natuurlijke gedrag vertonen. Het goede antwoord is antwoord B. Ze kunnen hier niet hun natuurlijke gedrag vertonen.
My first reaction is it's surprisingly clean. And I think that is very organised, it's very hygienic, so it hasn't put me off with chickens so far.
Waarom zou Manos minder kip gaan eten als hij in de kippenverwerkingsfabriek is geweest? Schrijf je mening op het papier.
To guarantee daily delivery of such a huge quantity, every worker has strict targets to meet.
Chicken's on a conveyor belt.
Shit!
And it's on this production line where our 5 Brits will find out if they can keep up to speed with the other workers.
1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
Start from now.
Every employee on this line is expected to separate 12 pieces of chicken a minute. That's 720 pieces every hour and over 5,000 pieces a day.
Er wordt zoveel kip geproduceerd omdat wij consumenten steeds meer en meer vlees eten. Hoeveel keer meer dan gezond voor je is, eten wij Nederlanders gemiddeld per dag vlees? Is dat A, 4 keer zoveel, 500 gram? Of is dat B, 2 keer zoveel, 250 gram? Het goede antwoord is antwoord B.
Really quick. Yeah. You took a Thai worker. Okay, guys. Time up. Finished. That's not good.
Okay.
We don't want that much meat here.
Okay.
It seems easy, but you know, when you're doing it in a matter of 1 minute, it's just really difficult.
The workers here do 12 a minute and I done 6. So I done half of what they done, which, you know, you can't do because it's not the target and you just mess up the whole line.
Yeah, you can like intensely do it for a minute, but once you're doing it hours and hours a day, it must be, you must get into some kind of crazy chicken zone. You know, these people aren't talking to each other, they're just getting on with it, they're just in the zone.
The average wage in this factory is around £4 a day. Spread over a year, this is twice what they're likely to earn in the rice fields. However, workers here can be on their feet for up to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week.
I don't think I'd be able to do that full time, no way. You just feel like a sheep, you just feel like a sort of clone because everybody is exactly the same.
All they do is just chop, 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 next one, chop, and, you know, they are just robots.
You've just got no identity here. You sort of forget who you are. It's like almost having a number, do you know what I mean? You're just a number here, I think.
The girls might be concerned about the workers here, but for Manos, it's still all about the chickens.
Can I have chicken noodle soup? Chicken, noodle, soup.
20-year-old Manos Kumar loves his chicken.
The reason why I like chicken is because it's convenient, it's cheap, not only that, it keeps me going every day.
But this chicken fan has never given any thought to how it ends up on his plate.
I've never cared where my food came from, so long as I'm happy with my chicken and chips.
In the rice region of Isan, Manos came face to face with a live chicken for the first time. And he started to question his relationship with his beloved bird.
I feel really guilty because that bird is sacrificing its life for my pleasures. I'd rather eat noodles than kill that and eat it.
But spending the morning working in the chicken factory has only increased his appetite.
Today it's just been nothing but, you know, positives, so much so that I'm eating chicken noodles. However, as the process continues on, we might go to worse conditions, and that's what I'm dreading.
The next job the group will be doing will really put Manos's love for chicken to the test. To maintain required hygiene standards, the chicken factory is separated into 2 different working sections, the clean zone and the dirty zone.
What the dirty zone do is the cutting to get the stomach chicken off. And after that, you will hang the live bird.
No way.
So literally I have to hold the chicken and hang it, basically. The actual chicken that's alive, I mean, it's going to come in boxes.
No, it doesn't sound great.
It doesn't sound great at all.
When Manos is eating chicken and chips, I don't think he ever thinks back to it being an actual chicken. It's almost like they're 2 different things altogether for him.
There's chickens everywhere, it's chickens galore. It's so gory, it's so bloody, and it doesn't look nice. Oh, God.
Je ziet hier alleen maar vrouwelijke kippen en geen mannetjes, haantjes. Dit omdat de mannelijke kip geen eieren legt en weinig vlees geeft. Van weinig nut dus voor de bio-industrie. Wat gebeurt er eigenlijk met de mannelijke kippen nadat ze geboren zijn? Worden die A. vrijgelaten op het erf of B. vergast en versnipperd? Het goede antwoord is antwoord B. Vergast en versnipperd. Helaas.
In this section of the factory, there are freshly killed chickens to be hung.
I don't know if I like it. They literally look like they just had their heads chopped off, their skin ripped off, and then they get thrown to you.
Guts to be removed.
Oh, what was that?
It's so gruesome, they're just literally pulling out the gut.
And intestines to be untangled.
He's asking me to get a pile of whatever this is and chop it up. It just looks so gruesome. I'm not doing this.
You're walking along and you're like, oh my god, there's a chicken about to come at me. Like, you've got to watch everywhere. There's chickens down there, chickens up there, chickens around your head. Mental.
It is a bit like the meat version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like Charlie and the Chicken Factory.
And it's not the type of chicken that I want to eat.
But that's nothing compared to where they're going next. Throughout the day, tens of thousands of live chickens continually arrive from farms surrounding the city. In this blue-lit room, a team of 30 workers manually hang over 140,000 heavy live birds every day.
Een dier dat op biologische wijze wordt gehouden heeft een diervriendelijker leven gehad dan deze kippen ooit hebben meegemaakt. Maar hoeveel procent van de 450 miljoen stuks vee in ons land worden op biologische wijze gehouden? Is dat A 3% of B 30%? Het goede antwoord is antwoord A.
Once their feet are latched onto the start of the conveyor belt, the chicken is carried away to the killing room.
You want to do this one? I think I did it and it was fluff and I started to panic, so I leave it to the bed.
Okay. I won't be doing that.
None of the Brits are prepared to do this job, except for Farmer James. For workers in this section of the factory, the day is spent hanging hundreds of bird after bird. But after only 10 minutes in this room, the group has seen enough.
I know in the past that I've saying I don't have a care about chickens, but after seeing this, which friggin' person wouldn't have any remorse? There's a part of me that feels sorry for the workers, but at this moment in time, all that's going through my head is those chickens, you know, going in circles. If I knew my chickens came from such conditions, you know what, I would have been a vegan ages ago.
But the rest of the group aren't so concerned about the chickens.
If everyone thought about the workers rather than thinking about how top quality their bloody chicken is, then it would be a whole different story. They just don't have, you know, their individuality there. They're just all covered in masks, standing there, doing these jobs. I just can't imagine what they feel like. I really do feel for them.
Quite ironic, really, because you see these people all cooped up, and then, you know, everyone's going, oh, God, it's so sad, all the chickens cooped up. But, you know, I'd rather see these people free, if I'm honest.
20-year-old Stacey Smith lives with her family in Kent.
Stacey absolutely loves food.
I love coming up with new recipes. I love my local Thai restaurant. We go around there all the time.
And for Stacey, food is all about the good things in life.
My ideal night would be a load of friends sharing a really nice meal, loads of courses, all trying each other's, lovely bottles of wine.
But as well as loving the food, Stacey is interested in the lives of the people that supply it.
We want food that's cheap and we expect it, but obviously it's going to come at some cost. People are always worried about how the animals suffered, but for me, I've always been more interested in the people behind the story.
Back in Thailand, these concerns are starting to ring true, and she's keen to find out more about the lives of the workers who are employed at the factory. Over 2,000 people live in these factory dorms, many of whom have migrated from the countryside in search of extra income. Stacey has arranged to meet one of the workers who live here.
Is it okay to come in? Thank you.
ออกมาก็คือสวรรค์แล้ว
What brought you here in the first place?
อ๋อที่บ้านก็มีอาชีพเดียวก็คือทำนาถ้าหมดหน้านาก็จะไม่มีรายได้อะไรเลยก็ต้องขึ้นมาทำงานที่กรุงเทพมีลูกอยู่คนเดียวลูกผู้ชายไม่ได้อยู่บ้านนอกอุดรแม่กับพ่อเลี้ยง
When her son was just 3 months old, Giap had to return to Bangkok in order to earn enough money to support him.
คนอีสานคือ100ก็มีอยู่ 5% ที่จะอยู่บ้านอีก 95% ก็มาทำงานหมดแล้วก็เอาลูกไว้ให้พ่อกับแม่เลี้ยงอยู่บ้านเป็นส่วนมาก
And how often do you get to go back to Udon Thani and see your son?
กลับไปปีหนึ่ง2 ครั้ง
Right. So she only gets to go back and see her son twice a year. I wasn't expecting that answer at all. He's only a year old. Like, see him twice a year. You're just missing out on his whole life, aren't you? How long do you think it will be until you can be back with your family?
โอ้ยตอนนี้กำหนดไม่ได้หรอกเพราะว่าเดือนหนึ่งออกมาก็อยู่ที่ประมาณ 5,000 ส่งกลับบ้าน 3,000 ค่าห้องอีก1,000 กว่าอีกตอบไม่ได้อะประมาณ7 ปีนู่นละมั้ง
I think the future for her is more important than the present. Just having that goal of getting out of here. I think that's quite important to keep you going. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hearing all of that, it just made me feel so helpless, and it just made me feel quite angry as well because obviously she's here because there's not enough money in rice, and that's sort of our fault. You know, we're benefiting, but they're not. The only reason why she's doing it is purely so that she can send money back home and save a bit for the future and for her son's future. But if it wasn't for that, she wouldn't be here. No one should have to make such a huge sacrifice, especially not just for Western consumers to benefit.
After almost 4 weeks of working in the food industries of Southeast Asia, our Brits are ready to let their hair down. This area of Bangkok is a labyrinth of dance bars and strip joints where almost anything goes.
We're going Spankies. Yeah, which one do you want to go?
Every year, an estimated 6 out of 10 tourists visit Bangkok's thriving sex districts, spending millions of pounds.
Man, I swear we've seen more culture. Oh my God! That was a proper lady boy.
And it's not long before our Brits get a piece of the action.
I'm being mauled.
Oh my God, what the fuck was that?
This one?
That was a hard rescue. There's a lot of naked people in there.
Literally, 3 girls just literally like that.
One was about to hump it.
One literally just wrapped her leg around me. She was literally licking my face.
But it's not just tourists that walk the streets in this district. Emily works for a charity that helps women leave the sex industry.
The majority of these women who come here to prostitute have come from Isan. They estimate that about up to 90% have come from Isan. As you've seen, those communities are very poor, and the women come here, many of them find themselves in the sex industry because as a woman in Thailand, they are obligated to provide for their families.
Do you know, on average a night, how much each woman will take home?
The salaries begin about 10,000 baht, which is about £200 a month.
Pretty high compared to the chicken industry and the rice industry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than they can make there, and that's why again they come to this place.
The women here can earn almost 4 times what they're likely to get paid in the rice communities. The group want to find out more about their lives here.
Are you guys both from Isan?
I'm from Isan, Tirupuri, not Isan.
What were you doing before you came to
working farmer, same. Then she work in factory, Longan factory.
Do you enjoy your jobs here, or do you?
No, but I want money for take care of my two baby, take care of.
How old are your children?
5.
Sorry.
Okay.
My daughter 12 years old, my son grade 3. Yeah. I don't like to do like this, not change the man. I want one man, but what can I do? We working for money. It's true, we want money for family.
I don't think any less of you because of what you're doing. I think you are amazing for coming over here for supporting your children. I really do.
It takes a lot of guts and a lot of sacrifice as well.
I have no school in 1 year, and I want my children to be school. That's why I come here to make more money.
Very lucky to have a mum like you there.
Thank you.
Very lucky. They should be proud.
Thank you for being so honest with us.
Thank you for being
No, yeah.
They've done a lot of sociological studies about Thai women who work in bars, and they're way above. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Can you stop shouting in my ear?
They make a lot of money.
The conversation is interrupted by a passing tourist who's keen to share his thoughts on the subject.
All of the Thai women who work in bars are empowered, and their families are empowered by this stuff.
About these
no, you're not. You're looking to exploit and make a story.
Sorry, mate. How have you got any idea? You've got no idea where we're from.
You know what? I look at your face, your face, your face, your face. You're a bunch of phonies. It's about 7,000 baht.
We've lived on the wage. We have to live on the wages that these fucking people have to live on. And it's hard. We were going hungry. We were going to those rice fields on an empty stomach. And it's
You're
hard.
phony.
You're phony.
You haven't done your homework about the economics. You have not done your economic homework about economics. You're phony, you're stupid, and you're phony. You're a phony. You're a phony. You're a phony. You're all phony.
How dare he say those things that he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about? And he won't even listen. He wouldn't even listen.
No idea.
And he's just one of thousands. He's the majority, you know? You get to a point up in the rice fields where there's just nothing else. You don't take it lightly. You don't think, oh, well, let's make a few more bucks in Bangkok. It's not like that. It's after years of struggle and years of exploring every other avenue. When you suddenly think, oh my God, there's nothing else for me here. I have to do something. I can't see my children starve. And that's the food industry. Like, who would have thought this is all because of the food industry? Like, you sort of forget that they're connected. I'm starting to really appreciate how hard it is to support your family. These girls don't want to be here.
Wat wij hier eten heeft invloed op de voedingsindustrie en daarmee ook op het lot van veel Thaise vrouwen. Waarom? Is dat A, omdat wij zo goedkoop mogelijk willen eten, is de concurrentie heel hoog en de lonen van de boeren dus steeds lager en zijn de vrouwen dus noodgedwongen op zoek te gaan naar beter betaald werk. Of is dat B, omdat Thais eten steeds minder populair wordt, er wordt minder rijst gegeten, dus moeten ze ook op zoek naar ander werk dan werken op de rijstvelden. Het goede antwoord is antwoord A.
These 6 food lovers have spent the last 4 weeks living and working with the people who produce the food that we eat.
I'd be surprised if we're all mentally intact after this experience.
They've lived in basic workers' conditions. Struggled with the extreme temperatures of the canning factory. And seen firsthand how their tuna is caught.
Just been shown to where we're sleeping and it looks crap.
They've grafted at some of the most challenging jobs in the food industry.
I've never been this dirty in my whole life. I've never stood in the rain this long in my whole life. If it's not good enough, I'm sorry, but we're not Indonesian workers.
And tried to live on a typical rice worker's wage.
Starving. A sixth of a banana and a sixth of a piece of bread isn't going to give us much energy.
And now, with their journey about to end, has this experience changed the way they feel about the food they eat and the people who make it?
Going through this experience, I've realised that cheap food is not always a good option, because in order for us to get our food cheap in the West, we need to exploit countries such as Thailand and Indonesia.
When I get home, I'm not going to forget about Thailand and Indonesia, and it's something that I stay very close connected to because it's had a massive effect and a big change on my life.
Coming from a farming background, it's been my belief that to buy British and buy local food was always the best option. But I've come to realise that if people did stop buying from Thailand and Indonesia, then they'd be worse off than they already are.
The harsh reality of it is, it's not all happy and lovely. These people do make sacrifices for us, you know. It's tough, really tough.
Tomorrow morning, our 6 Brits will be leaving Southeast Asia behind to return to their lives in the UK. But for one member of the group, the journey's not over yet.
While I am still here in Thailand, there is somebody I'd quite like to show my appreciation to.
Meeting one of the workers from the chicken factory has had a lasting effect on Stacey, and she's arranged to meet up with Giab for one last time.
Nice to see you again. How are you? You okay? Okay. Hello. Oh, what's this? This for you?
Giab hasn't seen her son in almost a year, and Stacey's determined to give her an opportunity to spend some precious time with him.
She's been told that he is walking now, but she obviously hasn't seen it for herself, so she can't wait, really. I can see she's so excited. Ready? Go? Yeah?
A return journey back to Giab's home village costs around £10, but on her wages, it's a trip she can rarely afford to make. For the first time in almost a year, mother and son will be reunited. Guitar hasn't seen his mum since he was 3 months old.
He doesn't want to come to her yet. You know, he's just shy. He doesn't know who she is, really.
Oh, baby. เปลี่ยนไปเยอะตอนนี้โตแล้วตอนมาเจอครั้งสุดท้ายยังเด็กอยู่เลยยังหัดเดินนี่เริ่มพูดแล้วนี่โตขึ้นต่างมากเลย
After 10 minutes of being together, Guitar's ready to welcome his mum.
ไม่อ่ะตอนนี้อยู่เขามากเหมือนกันนี่หอมแก้มเลยหอมแก้มเลยก็หวังว่าจะได้มาอยู่กับลูกแบบมาอยู่เลี้ยงจนโตจนเรียนหนังสือจบเลยคิดว่าจะไม่ทำงานอยู่กรุงเทพตลอดหรอกต้องมีสักวันต้องกลับมา
Not seeing her son is by no means what she wants, you know. It's only because she has to do it for now, but eventually she'd love them all to be a big family together again.
เจสซี่นี่ก็เจ๊ก็ขอบคุณเจสซี่เหมือนกันที่ให้มาเจอลูกแม้จะว่าเวลามันน้อยนิดก็ไม่เป็นไรก็ขอบคุณมากๆได้เจอนิดหน่อยก็ยังดีเป็นวันที่มีความสุขมากเลยวันนี้มีความสุขมากถึงจะเหนื่อยแต่ก็ดีใจอ่ะ
You know what? You shouldn't thank me at all. It's nothing really compared to what you deserve. Seeing this family reunited has made it all come together in my mind. I don't think I fully appreciated how difficult it must be for her to be missing all of those crucial moments that no mum should ever miss. She doesn't want it to be like this forever, but to be honest, I don't know when she'll be able to afford to all be together as a family. And, you know, this is just one of many families that have to be broken up, and it's because of the food industry. Who would have thought they were so connected? Families out here just don't have the choice we have back in the UK. They don't have the opportunities, and that has shocked me. I suppose I feel a bit guilty because I can go back to my life. Although I won't go back to normal, you know, I've got so much back home. And I do appreciate it, but seeing what little people have out here and how happy they still are does sort of bring it all home to you, you know?
It's been 2 months since the group returned from living the lives of food workers in Southeast Asia. So, how has the experience changed them since being back? Since arriving home, Manos has developed a new respect for the people who make his food.
Now I've realised that, look, having experienced, you know, life along their terms and seeing how hard it is, no one deserves to live a life like this.
Manos's experience of living with workers' families has brought him closer to his own.
Yeah, without a doubt, I've got a better relationship with my family after living with families in Southeast Asia, seeing how communitarian they are, seeing how together they are, seeing how hard they work together.
Since he came back, he has shown lots of respect. He's changed, really.
After this trip, I hope that I've ended up being a better man.
For luxury food lover Lauren, it was experiencing firsthand the work that goes into producing our food that's had the biggest impact.
They have to work in horrible conditions for barely any money for hours and hours a day just so we can have cheap food in the UK. And I had no idea whatsoever that I'd go out to Southeast Asia and experience something like that.
And now Lauren wants to make sure her experience doesn't go to waste.
The big thing that I can do now that I'm back in the UK is raise awareness, and I've been doing that. I've been telling everybody, you know, all of my friends, family, everyone about my experience.
Because when you're working in a tuna factory, you're not allowed to look up, you're not allowed to talk to anybody, you've got to keep your head down, like, working away. Once you've worked in a tuna factory in a rice field, you'll never moan about work ever again.
If I could take the whole of England on a massive jumbo jet out to Asia to see what I've seen, I think things might be slightly different. I think people will be more prepared to pay more money for their produce.
Back in the UK, young dad Josh is determined to find a way of buying food that directly benefits the workers.
No fair trade rice. The first thing I look for now when I go to the supermarket is fair trade products. But you have to dig so deep to find them. They're the same price as normal bananas, so there's no reason why everybody shouldn't buy these ones. If I can teach 5 people that can go and teach another 5 people about the impact fair trade has on people out there, then it's only a good thing. Excuse me, can I have a look what's in your basket? Are these fair trade bananas? Do you know the fair trade ones are the same price?
Waar herken je Fairtrade bananen aan? Is dat A, omdat ze duurder zijn, of is dat B, omdat er een stickertje op zit van een Fairtrade keurmerk? Het goede antwoord is antwoord B.
20-year-old Manos Kumar loves his chicken.
The reason why I like chicken is because it's convenient, it's cheap, not only that, it keeps me going every day.
But this chicken fan has never given any thought to how it ends up on his plate.
I've never cared where my food came from, so long as I'm happy with my chicken and chips.
Als jij net als Manos zou weten waar het eten op je bord vandaan zou komen, zou je dan een andere keuze maken in de supermarkt of in het restaurant? Schrijf je antwoord op papier en vertel ook waarom je een andere keuze zou maken en wat je dan zou kiezen.
Before going to Asia, 19-year-old Jess Cooper was an extremely fussy eater.
Now I'm not as fussy anymore. I am going to cherish every single bit of food I have, and I'm not going to complain about it again. But now I'll try everything, even if I get it on my plate and I don't like it. You've tried it. Here, wait, I'll lift you up. 1, 2, 3. Does it look nice? Yeah. Disgusting!
And living with the workers has given her a new independence.
Jessica wasn't very independent before she went away. She tended to rely on me to do everything from cooking, cleaning. But I think since she's come back, she's learned more about, you know, there's not always people around to help her out all the time.
I think in Asia I really pushed myself out of my comfort zone a lot, but now coming back I've found, you know, this new confidence and I just feel kind of like invincible now. I feel like if I want to do something I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Prior to this experience, farmer James Ray believed in looking after British first.
Being out there and living out there and working out there has taught me that it's not just as cut and dry and as simple as that. If you didn't have the 140,000 chickens coming through a day, you wouldn't be employing the 5,000 people that are working there. Well, those 5,000 people that are working there wouldn't have jobs, wouldn't be able to support their families, wouldn't be able to do anything. Like that is how I spent all day. Bent over 8-10 hours, I think.
Did you ever hear any of them complain?
No, not once.
Now James is determined to give something back.
I'd like to get involved in helping Asian farmers produce more. I'd go out there and I would set up irrigation systems all over the place so that they didn't just have the 2 rice seasons, they could have rice seasons throughout the year. I think blood, sweat and tears is a fair statement for the effort involved in making food for the UK consumption.
After coming face to face with people that supply our food, Stacey has come back, a woman on a mission.
We've never thought about the people behind the food industry before. We don't really care. We really care about being vegetarian or organic or free range or whatever else and how the food's been brought up and cared for. But the workers have not been given a second thought.
As soon as she returned, Stacey wrote an article about the plight of the migrant workers and is determined to get it published in as many places as possible.
It's so overdue to start thinking about the people rather than the food. Like, the food is important. I care what I put in my mouth, but I'm really devastated that people still have to live like this in this day and age. It shocks me, to be honest, that I feel like this is the first time it's sort of been talked about. I'm shocked. I just hope it's not the last time.